and welcome back to Alpha Tauri. Today, 2 races in the Americas, Las Vegas and then Canada, which is a sprint again after the excitement that caused last time around. Of course, Las Vegas wasn't without its surprises last time either. Quick turnaround between Las Vegas Grand Prix. Speaking of quick turnarounds, there's nothing really to mention. Both drivers are using the newest versions of every aerodynamic part, and the next ones aren't complete until after the next ATR period actually opens. So I might actually need to build chassis just to make sure we've got chassis by the time I can start building those ones. I don't know. We'll work things out on that front, but I will see you directly for the race at Las Vegas. No other fuss here. Well, we're here in the final dying moments of Q3 of qualifying, and I have pushed Yuki Tsunoda's tyres on the outlap. It was an oversized album, but now I'm deciding that this could be a useful experiment, really, to see which is better, because I think Yuki Tsunoda's tyres would be too hot by the end of the lap, whereas Alex's were too cold to start. And he should be up to temperature relatively quickly anyway. But once again, Las Vegas looking like a relatively happy hunting ground for us. Pole seems a little bit out of reach, but you never know. We don't have a tow from anyone, crucially, as well. If anything, I think Russell's just been towed into second. Yuki has done a faster first sector, though. Alex has not, surprisingly, but a faster middle sector. First runs were on used tyres. Sainz already taken the checker flag. He's 8th at best. I don't know who's on the in lap, though. Yuki with a better middle sector as well. Our drivers are surprisingly far apart. I don't really know how that's happened, but Alex across the line stays 5th. I don't think he improved overall. Yuki, however, stays 4th. He does improve, but just not enough. Less than 3/10 off Verstappen, and I don't know if Verstappen's done. Only Perez and Magnussen are on laps. So less than 3/10 off Verstappen's time is curious. I swear that said Perez was on a flying lap. Did he just abandon his lap? Or is he the one that's across the line and still going behind us? He must be that one. Magnussen just sneaks into 5th in between us. Actually kind of helps us, puts us behind rather than adjacent. There's really not a whole lot in it. I think we give it our best possible shot. Start on the fresh softs and go from there.
The atmosphere is electric here for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Under the lights of Las Vegas. I just realised I made a horrible mistake. I went the wrong way. I've forgotten on some occasions, but I've genuinely never gone the wrong way on those. Tsunoda's still got Leclerc off the line, despite being on everything conserve. Albon also is contesting with Magnussen at least, but Russell also got Verstappen off the line, it seems, at the very front. It was a terrible qualifying for Gasly, who did qualify 16th. He hasn't moved in the first lap, but Piastri's got Perez. As first laps go, don't typically get the overtakes off the line, which is a bit of a shame, but all the overtakes that happened off the line appear to have stuck. Not a huge amount of shift around further back either. I can't remember which round the McLarens qualified, so I think the actually furthest down overtake was Piastri and Perez for 10th. Yellow flag! That is behind, evidently. There's a big gap. So there was a big gap with Bottas, so that explains it, because Bottas is the one behind this, reacting to it. I feel like we had a very similar highlight. I mean, he didn't get stop, but I remember we had the heavy breathing Norris audio for just a light tap on the wall last year. Unfortunately, that was more than a light tap that time around. He did completely spin it, but still going, but last. Still looking at the Sauber. Wait, hang on. Okay, that's literally just happened. I was going to say, we've not had the replay for this. DRS is not active yet. He's just got himself into this fight. They're on mediums worth showing as well. Whether they're doing medium to hard, I don't know. But obviously they push for the first 2 laps. So we'll lose the benefit of these tyres over the course of the race. But DRS now active, of course, so we can have a go at Verstappen. And a go is all it is for now, but Yuki's still contesting through the next few corners. Still hasn't really given it up. I mean, it's given me a replay for this. I mean, it's a great little fight, but Verstappen's still alongside by the time this highlight was offered to me. And whoever's behind at this checkpoint is going to have a massive advantage, which is going to be Max. Max was behind at the checkpoint, and he's going to be alongside by the time the DRS activates. So, bye, Max. Yeah, I mean, you're lucky that George didn't do anything there, really, either. Alex is doing the fastest lap, I think. Somehow. Drafting Leclerc. Russell currently has fastest lap. Magnussen was gifted it, and then Ocon gained it, actually behind Alex. Well, we're in the right ballpark anyway. And basically every strategy seemed to be vaguely similar in terms of overall runtime. So it's going to be a case of pitting when it makes sense. Really? Okay. Should really be paying attention to this. He's done it again. He's done it again in exactly the same place. Done it slightly more convincingly, although let him back in again. Yeah, he's done exactly the same thing. So Max would be ahead by the end of the lap again. There he goes. Yuki, you need to learn when to overtake. He does get more confidence gain by overtaking than he does from being overtaken. So ultimately it does help his confidence, but I mean, he's just done it again there. He's overtaken him before the detection point. Yuki's racecraft is terrible in that respect. That'll be the next, hang on a second. I can say that'll be the next little driver intelligence tweak in the game added, I imagine. Something like that. Yeah, it's just that kind of random dive down the inside that can happen there. We've certainly benefited from that in the past, but they've got us this time round doing that. Overtake failed. Oh no, what a shame, you're behind at the detection point. But you don't seem to understand how to do a DRS overtake. So that's marginally problematic, Yuki. And yeah, you let George through instead. Is Max helping us here? trying to work out if it's beneficial what Max is doing to us or not. Not is the answer. Well, we were in third, but immediately one lap later, Yuki takes both of them. What a great overtake that is. 2 in 1 for the lead, 3 wide into a chicane. Oh, he really compromised George, that did. I did wonder if George would, I mean, Max has got him now, but whatever that did broke Max out of DRS. And Yuki's now running away a little bit. All right, lap 8. I can't imagine it'll stay. It depends how hard Max defends and how much slingshot effect DRS helps in terms of cutting that time down. Norris is pitted. I guess he damaged his tyres when he thumped the wall. Yuki Tsunoda is currently running away from the leaders marginally per lap, and that will come down as the soft tyres lose performance compared to the mediums, but Alex is still within 4 seconds of Yuki as well, 5 seconds. So double stacking would still be marginally problematic. Now this is an interesting update because I didn't see it coming, mostly because Ocon, oh yeah, that's not great from the game that. I did wonder how Leclerc had lost out to Ocon as well there. Not the best display of game functionality there, but I mean, we'll happily take a place over a Red Bull any day of the week. However, it's gifted. It must be said, the mediums actually aren't that much better than the softs in terms of wear rate, about 10%. So it's not going to be a massive differential when the softs run out because the mediums aren't going to be that much better off. Apparently it's 4 laps until we need to pit. Yeah, we're on track, basically. Actually, Alex might have to pit first. I put Yuki as pitting first, but Alex might have to go first here because he's been running slightly harder because he's been in the train, whereas Yuki's now got clean air. And see, that time's now coming down from the medium runners. That could be partially pushing as well, but lap 16, those tyres have hit 40%. Okay, I mean, that's 2 laps before schedule. Okay, so you only lose about 3% on a lap, so that's fine. Alex this lap on the kind of scheduled lap, I think it is. Well, I think the way the game works is it's technically 1 lap early for... Just checking that I was actually going to a medium there. I think it was... Okay, so Alex onto a medium this lap. We're basically just swapping the order. We originally put Yuki's schedule 1 lap earlier. Then Alex is just to obviously differentiate them because they were quite close in terms of qualifying. It's not like the previous races, but one's been at the front and one's been at the back for whatever reason. But it's Norris broken. I mean, I know he's pitted, but he's 36. Oh yeah, he did his rear wing in when he thumped the barrier. But Alex actually in first. Oh yeah, we can let him just fully go for it on the in lap. A little weird how Leclerc's broken off after being done by Ocon on ourselves. 3.5 seconds the gap to Sainz and Stroll and Leclerc, and a little pack there. But here comes Alex on a 2-stop strategy. I will stick with the 2-stop just because it's more entertaining, really, more than anything. And ultimately, it maintains confidence better because you're always overtaking your way back through. Shogun Yu and De Vries in for what I should... Oh no, they've got hards out. They're going to try and do 1 stop for the rest of this race. 2 seconds, that's a slow stop for us. As that will never not be stupid. How slow they come out of that pit there. That needs fixing. But crucially, he came out ahead of Bottas. That's a nice pocket to have come out into. Also, I need to set Yuki up for his... and let him go for it on this in-lap. So Alex was about 4 or 5 seconds behind Tsunoda. Max has worked his way to the front of that little group. So in theory, Yuki should come out just ahead of Alex by about probably 3 or 4 seconds, because I imagine Alex will get maybe a second just of undercut, but you know, there's more than enough wiggle room there. So I'm expecting Yuki to come out behind Perez in the same window that Alex has. So Ocon pits along with Stroll and Leclerc. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Stroll, Leclerc and Ocon in regards to Alex. Okay, so faster pit stop for Yuki Tsunoda as well by about a tenth, sorry. So Yuki comes out with Perez and Piastri, which is significantly further up. So Alex comes out still fighting Ocon, unfortunately. But he's gone onto hard, so they're one-stopping. It seems like the AI one-stop onto hards here, regardless of what tyre they start on. So they do one of the other 2 strategies, essentially. Now, this middle stint is designed to be a 4 push as standard for us. So we can probably interval this between just going 5 push and 3 regular, come out with the same outcome. So you know, when we need to get an overtake, like now, just go all out. Whereas Tsunoda's awkward exit did actually end up putting him 2 seconds behind Piastri and Perez. I don't know how that would have necessarily affected him long-term in regards to contesting pits with Magnussen, Verstappen and Russell. Hopefully not badly is the answer there. Albon, buddy. You do have DRS on the Ocon here. Make it count, Alex. Make it count. Ooh. I'm about to say we both get Sainz, but I think we're ahead of Sainz anyway because he was in the Leclerc pocket, wasn't he, with Leclerc and Stroll, who's massively lost out, actually. As Albon does get Ocon as I'm talking there, so fingers crossed he can make that stick and drive away a little bit because his pace on the mediums should be notably better than Ocon's. Meanwhile, Yuki's got to try and deal with Perez, but he's not going to do it like that. He might do it here, though. He has swung out wide and well cleared Perez, actually. There's a crucial moment coming up here as Yuki Tsunoda goes up past pit exit, well ahead of Max Verstappen, actually. Oh, he's like 5 seconds ahead of him. Massive from Yuki. Massive. Alex is still contesting with Ocon, which is a bit irritating. I need you to drive away. It might just be a case of Ocon pushing because he's in a fight, but I need him to give up, or I need Alex to get in DRS of Max, but I think annoyingly Ocon will. So Perez pits now and suffers massively because of it. 13th for him now. I presume some people haven't pitted off mediums though. Yeah, so Bottas and Iwasa on lap 23 are still interlopers. Albon overtakes Russell is a message I wasn't expecting to read. How did Russell end up in this? So he must have just pitted into this a little bit later. And without DRS, Alex goes past both of them. I don't know if he already had Ocon at that point. Curious. But Tsunoda is 7 seconds ahead of Verstappen. I mean, still pushing. Like I say, that stint was designed to be a 4 push to begin with, so we'll just leave him on 4 push and let him run those tyres in that respect. Whereas we'll kind of alternate Alex in between attacking and not attacking, just in the hope that he can clear the pack he's in. Verstappen's run clear of Albon, Russell, Ocon, etc. I figured I'd just bring you an overtake because it's been a while, but yeah, Alex has got a bit of a problem because he's not really running clear of these hard runners, and he's got to come back through them. And Max has kind of remained about 8 seconds behind Tsunoda, so this is a huge problem because they're all still in one train. There's not really a lot Yuki can do about it now. The two drivers are basically split by 1 lap as well in terms of pitting again, in terms of tyre wear, total tyre wear. And he's let Alex go for it, and the lap that he basically tips under 40% is when we pit him. I think we might be able to get 1 more extra lap out of them, which means they'll be able to push the softs a little bit harder as well. I mean, this is a fantastic race for the neutrals just because of this 6-car fight for third. Tsunoda has weirdly run away with this at this point in time, but he does have to get back through. And we know obviously the pit exit is a bit awkward, so that kind of actually adds to the pit stop time, whilst not being part of the pit stop time. So I think Tsunoda is actually still building a lead on Max on this lap. No, about the same. Pit Alex. Interesting that 4 push actually still stays within temperature. Wasn't really expecting that. Also, we haven't really got the fuel back either, which might be a concern later on. Still 15 laps to go. It's recovered well enough that I think the conserving rate will be pretty solid. All right, so we'll get Yuki to come in this lap as well afterwards. 9 seconds is the gap to Verstappen. 1.8 from Alex. Wow, that's a pit stop. I mean, he comes out inside Piastri, which doesn't help. I mean, that was on 2 times, but you all saw that. He'll immediately have DRS, though, which is interesting. For him, anyway, Yuki has just had to lap Norris and is towing him along, actually. Well, Tsunoda now comes in. He was probably about 11 seconds ahead of Alex. So, ahead of Perez again? Or with Perez? Yeah, ahead of Perez. 1.9. Good pit stop for Yuki. And realistically, he's only about 7 or 8 seconds off the lead, I think. 9. Albon does get Piastri, crucially. He needed to deal with him better than he dealt with Ocon. But of course, this is his freshish softs versus now somewhat used hards and general car performance on top of that. So Alex is less than a pit stop effectively from the leader. And whilst he can't necessarily 5 push to the end, Yuki probably could average a 4 push. Alex, somewhere between the two, I think. It's hard to predict, obviously, when you're actually looking at it, but we can let them go all out. Maybe the first couple of laps they're on these. Yeah, they're all around 60%, those hards. So they're not terrible, but they're not great. And they will get to the end fairly comfortably, I think. Of course, one of our drivers will get fastest lap pick, pretty much guaranteed. Actually, whilst Alex is a significant portion behind people, this could be the opportunity for him to recover fuel. But Tsunoda has Leclerc, so I'll let him get past Leclerc, and then I'll get him to conserve. And actually, rather than risk, because whilst avoiding curbs obviously helps with tyre temperature, which ultimately helps with tyre wear whilst on 5 push, the lap time delta between 5 push plus curbs is roughly similar, I think, to a 3 push in a lot of places. So I was not expecting him to immediately get into the fight with Magnussen and Ocon because there was a 2-second gap there, and he's done that straight away. But what attacking does, of course, is increase the risk of accident and things like that. But he's DRS past both Ocon and Magnussen in one straight there, has Yuki, on just regular attack mode. That is ridiculous. Like, I know there's DRS, and I know that's soft versus medium, but he's just power past both of them without any fuss. Like, he's not even on attack mode there. Okay, so now he's ahead of them again. Now we go conserve. Kind of hoping they don't fight back here too much. Ocon is contesting more than I would like. We'll just get Ocon out of range, I think. Or get into Sainz's DRS. That could be the crucial point there. He's actually already through Sainz by the time I've clicked back onto him there. Well, I mean, Sainz couldn't have made that easier for him, frankly. Why can't we let drivers through like that when we needed to? You know, back in the day when the Red Bull overtake was a no-brainer, let's say. Why can't we let them through like that instead of trying to fight them and losing time as a result? It's the fuel recovery rates aren't great. Like, they're enough that Alex can definitely come off now, and Yuki can come off now. He's also now, crucially, on lap 47, back in range of the leaders. You're on 49% hards. We're on 56% soft, so there's not a huge amount in it. I say there's not a huge amount in it. He's immediately getting Verstappen here. Not in a DRS zone. Worth pointing out. Just going for it on the inside. Poor Norris up there, about to be lapped. Bizarre, actually. Look, like Norris has been missing part of his rear wing, but he's not been apocalyptically slow compared to the others. Now, this is an interesting overtake because Verstappen also had the DRS. So Verstappen momentarily had Tsunoda as well there, as they were both overtaking Russell. I guess it's like Tsunoda got a little bit more pinched as he started his DRS overtake on Russell. That Verstappen capitalised and got both temporarily, but Tsunoda's on the inside here and gets him back again. And there we have it, Tsunoda back in the lead. Obviously there was an 8-second gap originally, but 8-9 seconds, but that was purely because, of course, he was on mediums versus their hards. So he was able to build up a bit of a gap before pitting, and now he's recovered the loss. Like I say, the strategies were basically equivalent. If we'd gone soft to hard and kind of stuck with them, then there's every chance that basically they would have been in this fight the entire time on hards. Instead, we've allowed Yuki to run away, come back through again, and it's been a little bit more interesting. Also, crucially, he's been a peak performance the entire time because he's had to come back through again and do overtakes. Like, I feel like he's running away, but he's not really dropping Max. But I just feel like he's far enough away that the DRS zone isn't enough for him to get caught up. We're going to have to deal with Norris soon as well. Actually, it would have been enough for Max if Max had pulled out, I think. But yeah, despite the fact that Norris is missing part of his rear wing, the fact he's only 30 seconds behind 19th is a little surprising. Like, that's normally the one that kind of loses a lap every 10 laps. Final lap. Still a bit of worth in the tyres. Oh, Alex actually got into Magnus's DRS. I didn't even notice that. And Leclerc's, actually. It's all one thing. Ocon a little bit up the road, obviously paying attention to these guys. And Leclerc's overtaken Albon there in the process, unfortunately. He's getting him back. So Verstappen's outside DRS. I feel like that might be that. So we won't go aggressive just to reduce chance of incident. Might as well go deploy mode on this. Albon takes Leclerc. That's good. He's been dealt with. Alex is behind Magnussen. Just deploy, Yuki. Get away from them. Oh, wow. That was a violent swing behind. And that is Alex past Magnussen as well for 6th, which he started 6th. It was as high as 4th before he pitted, but of course he was 4th because we were on medium, so he had that extra pace to get up there. Ultimately, he's basically just finished where he started. So sponsorship bonuses would have been fruitless. But for whatever reason, Tsunoda managed to get to the front, and unfortunately, we did actually ignore him crossing the line because we watched that replay. But we can watch it as a replay, because that's the thing. What have we just done? What did we just do? What did we just do? Yeah, I love that we're hearing Albon post-race here when Yuki's the one that's won there. And there it is, the first race victory. And the disappointment of Japan, his home race, of course. I mean, he's repaid us for that colossal error. I am surprised we are where we are. It is worth noting, Ricciardo in 13th. Now, that pack was split off from the rest, but he was best of that lot. And ahead of Gasly, crucially. What happens in Vegas? Hopefully he doesn't stay in Vegas. Hopefully he can continue this. We got there, folks. Hopefully a bright future lies ahead of them. Hopefully. Yeah, a sort of silently good race for Ricciardo. I think those Saubers have picked up because Valtteri qualified in Q2, which never really happened last season. And even Daniel qualified 17th rather than, you know, last. So obviously slightly held by Lando, but still up 4 places and still stayed ahead of Gasly, who qualified terribly, but is in an Alpine. And a really good race for Carlos Sainz whilst being a terrible race for Charles Leclerc. Interesting, the differing fortunes of the former Ferrari drivers there. What that does mean is Yuki Tsunoda now sits 5th in the championship ahead of Carlos Sainz and both Mercedes drivers. We are sandwiching them as things stand. Kevin Magnussen is 4th. The lofty heights of 4th for Kevin Magnussen. But it does really seem to hammer home that, without even looking at the constructors, it's more of a fight for 3rd. Ferrari, I feel sorry for Sergio Perez. I don't know if he's had issues this year already. I haven't really paid that much attention, but obviously didn't finish that well there. Didn't qualify well there. But it is a bit of a weird discrepancy between George and Sergio, despite them being very equal in terms of overall average rating, 91 versus 89. Like, Sergio's even had a pole and a fastest lap this year, and a podium, and yet 9th. George has just had no poles, no fastest lap, just consistently 4 podiums. He's actually had more podiums than Max has. I'm going to get out of the way of this because it is quite funny. Yuki Tsunoda has one of everything. One race win, one podium, one DNF, one sprint win, one pole, one fastest lap, which was this one. And what that does mean is we do get ahead of Aston Martin, whose second driver, Lance, isn't faring too well, while Kevin is fourth in the championship and not too far off Mercedes. Not too far off Ferrari, frankly. 1 and 2 there, though, as well. We are seemingly like a notable gap ahead of this lot. So if we can keep putting in 43 points every single week, that could be better for us, because I don't think we'll slip as far away this time round. St. Maloney's up to 80 average. Oh, I love the fact that our driver bonuses are 20 grand and 10 grand. So the most we ever pay out is 30 grand. What a stark contrast that was to last year. And there is that. My concern is that a chassis will fail before we actually manufacture the new ones. Right then, I was tempted to start doing a couple of designs on intense mode just to get the extra expertise out of it. But Yuki's double crash in Japan is maybe a little bit more hesitant that we'll have enough money to compensate for that by the end of the year. So just sticking on regular, looks like the parts that are coming in will actually be notable gains in the areas of their expertise towards. So we might be able to make reasonable gains when they come in later in the season. But for now, we'll have a new chassis coming in, not for Canada. Well, actually, it does look like one will be manufactured before we get there, so somebody might be able to use it for Canada, which will be a sprint, of course. But it was a little bit carnage last time, so I'm a little bit hesitant to put brand new car parts on. We'll see for that momentarily. A fully damp Q3 sees us 5th and 8th as things stand going into the... well, maybe not 5th and 8th, because I think I know what the yellow flag's been caused by. What a time to have come back in there. That's the out lap as well. That's not even the flying lap. 5th and 8th it is then. The funny thing was, the one brand new chassis we had, I gave to Yuki. Weird sensible foresight on that one. So that's the best we're going to do with new car parts that needed doing, and only 2 practice sessions, both of which were changeable conditions. We'll take. Well, obviously, that's... Oh, is that obviously? I think either way, a soft stint gets you there, but 5th and 8th it is.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
23 laps of Montreal to kick things off this weekend, with a little bit of dampness thrown in. Last year was a bit of carnage, a bit of chaos, and a very good result. Now they've added rain. Tsunoda immediately has got Russell. I should also say I'm not totally oblivious to the fact that Alex damaged his car when he hit the wall. He lost most of his ERS and most of his gearbox and a little bit of his engine, but that wasn't... Actually, no, that was a brand new fresh engine, I think. Or near enough. So, yeah, drivers so far, not on my good books on that front, but if we can secure ourselves a very healthy points haul that keeps us at very least 4th by the end of the year, we'll take that. I don't know, what are you doing? I wasn't looking at you, really. I mean, you got him back, Yuki. We don't see overtakes in the sprint highlight-wise, so there we go. And he's actually... Perez on a hard. What have they done with Perez? That, my friend, is a mistake, because there is rain, and if it does get damp enough, we're all coming off these tyres anyway, a little bit early. But a soft will get us to the end of the race, and DRS is enabled, of course, on lap 2 in the sprint. So even if you don't deal with him soon, you'll get him behind the detection point. Don't worry about the lack of overtake. That is Alexander Albon getting Carlos Sainz ahead, and he is through despite his... The thing with the engine pieces is I've never really fully understood, quite frankly, whether or not... You know, it says 47, 46%, but do you actually lose... I never really fully understood if you lose power between 100 and the yellow checkpoint, which for the ERS might be soon, actually, and probably might happen in the race. Like, I know once they turn yellow, they definitely have a power loss or an output loss. Good boy, you've got him. And I can see, actually, there's Alex getting past Leclerc on a medium. Nice indeed, Alex. Fastest lap for Alex as a result. No more ERS, so that's that done with. A little bit of rain, so I feel like you can sort of push the fuel a little bit harder just because that will come back a little bit over the remaining 20 laps plus the rain. And similarly, I feel like you can go like properly aggressive on these tyres a little bit harder just on the assumption the rain will come in. Like the full 5 push gets you to 30% by the end of this without rain. So don't stress about it. Make the most of it now while you're in DRS ranges of people. Although Alex isn't. Yuki is looking the back of Carlos Sainz. As Russell still hasn't taken Perez, but I think he might have now. They really do like to screw over Perez of that Ferrari team, don't they? You thought Perez in the Red Bull was kind of done over a little bit. It's not going well at Ferrari for him either. I don't know how long his contract is there, but good luck. Will you switch back on lap 7 as Alex is fighting Max Verstappen for the lead? I don't know what happened to Lance Stroll. He is now 4th. I mean, I didn't know what happened to Lance Stroll. He's Lance Stroll. Sorry. No, I mean, in fairness, in the game, he's still quite good. I've got the 1-4 push now because that's what the stint was originally set for. I'm trying to wean myself off the curbs thing as much as I can because I know it will get dealt with at some point. Tsunoda's in a bit of a train, though, which is my concern. See if he can make... I mean, Alex and Max are fighting at the front. That is legitimate. Meanwhile, Yuki behind is Fighting Leclerc, sort of having a go at Stroll. At the same, he doesn't have DRS. Stroll must have got him on that straight then, which is a shame. Magnussen has done fastest lap. Oh, I never mentioned the rest of qualifying. I now realise. Magnussen and Ocon were both knocked out in Q1. They were 16th and 17th. You probably would have seen it on the original starting lineup there, but they lost out in Q1. Norris missed out on Q2. He was 11th. The Haas actually qualified 12th and 14th, which was obviously good for them. Okay, right weather. Them saying right weather predicted now is a little odd. I suppose it's because it is technically starting in 3 laps' time, but it is so minuscule. It is unbelievable for a while. Stroll has fallen to 7th. I have a feeling that Aston Martin isn't that good anymore. I mean, he's on a medium as well, and it's all the soft runners going through him. I think the Aston Martin might actually be kind of on par, at the very least, on par with the Mercedes and ourselves in race spec. For whatever reason, we seem to be quite good when it actually gets to the race time. But we seem to be a lot better than we probably should be on paper, put it that way. You're fighting Max, Alex. It's not that ridiculous, is it? But I suspect the front 6 are all soft-running cars now. I know, Leclerc's still on a medium. To show you, obviously, the capabilities of that Red Bull, that even on a medium tyre, that they have holding on to 5th quite comfortably, despite it being suboptimal tyre-wise. Fuel not coming back quite as nicely as I would have hoped. Oh, we've got a minor problem now. Guess who's behind Alex? Oh, never mind. Actually, Alex has solved the problem for us. Unfortunately, it is one trade all the way to Zhou Guanyu in 8th. But Max is without DRS here. There's a very good chance we end up 1 and 2 if Yuki makes a move on Max here. Because he'll have DRS on him. This is a problem. Yuki's been on driving clean air this entire time as well. Hasn't seemed to hurt him. Actually, I might actually leave Don't Let Teammate off, because overtake slingshot might be helpful. And Yuki might actually be the faster of the 2 vehicles with the damage that Alex has, technically, to his mechanical car parks. Like I say, I don't know how much that damage to the mechanical car parks actually affects it when they're not in the yellow zone. He also does have the better chassis as well. He's the one with the chassis in. So Yuki might actually be the faster of the 2. Carlos Sainz got Max Verstappen. That is a little weird. Oh, God. Oh, no, they're fighting into the wall of champions. They're fighting into the wall of champions. Oh, they're through. Honestly, I think if Yuki gets him, we tell Alex not to fight, because I think Yuki is the faster of the 2. In theory. That's a problem. When we say don't fight, I mean don't even get alongside Alex. Oh, God, the rain issue is going to be a problem, isn't it? Is it actually ever going to get wet enough is now my concern. I'm not sure it is. That's not good news. Nothing seems to be broken, though. They're literally on don't fight teammate. Like, what more can I do here? What more can I do there? I literally have them on don't fight teammate. I cannot physically do anything more with this game to stop that from happening. And Yuki has a penalty, by the way. Yuki has a penalty for that, when it's Alex that's caused the accident. Yuki doesn't have any damage. Is it confidence? It might be confidence that's caused this issue. Yeah, because Alex's confidence wasn't here, but Yuki's was, for whatever reason. Because Alex drove into him. Although there is now a safety car for something else. Somewhere else. I see Norris is on +0. That'll be why. This is never going to get wet enough. It saves the fuel, which we were going to have to maybe conserve on for 1 lap at least at some point. Everyone else carefully avoiding Lando, who's been in the wars this batch of races. Oh, yeah, that's a thump. Everyone got out of the way quite nicely there. Almost a little bit too nicely, if anything. I think the needle's gone too far on the avoidance there, because I think at least the first person wouldn't necessarily have the ability to react to that. But this solves any tyre issues along with fuel issues. As for the rain, it is going to just stay just shy, I think, of being wet. 3 laps to go as well. Ha! The safety car isn't even going to go in, I don't think. We might get the last lap, actually, because this is lap 22. The last lap might ironically be wet enough to be on intermediates, but obviously no one's pitted now, so it's entirely pointless. I think the safety car might come in for lap 23 or 23, and we'll be able to attack. At this point, take 2nd and 3rd, mate. Oh, it won't even be 2nd and 3rd, will it? Mad and crazy is the safety car not coming in. The safety car hasn't even come in. That's been like 4 laps. I should have pitted Yuki and taken the penalty. He's going to start last regardless now. Actually, I don't know what the total interval is for the leader. No, he'll still finish like 13th. Great. So we've been robbed of the opportunity of winning this. How dumb is that? Just to put it in context of how much time we spent behind the safety car, we've gone from -0.5 to +3, effectively. We've saved 3 kilograms of fuel behind the safety car, which is ridiculous. I mean, there's still a run to the line here. And just because it's just going to be a run to the line, I will take him off don't fight. No, nobody really got there. I'm hoping it might spread people out a bit, but no, it did not. Yuki will start the race 18th. I suppose Antonio was 5.1 behind the leader, and Yuki was like 0.3 behind the leader. So he ends up 2/10 behind Antonio Giovinazzi. How dumb was that? Well then, 23 laps down, 70 more to go, the majority of which will be in the rain. Yuki starts from 19th because don't fight teammate apparently means do fight teammate until the last possible second and then eventually yield. But anyway, it puts some gap between the two drivers inevitably when the rain will come, so silver linings.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
So 3 kilograms under on fuel purely because we'll get it back through the rain period, plus incidents, which are not unlikely here. But I've gone on a fuel level that I think will be fine if there are no incidents, just through pushing on the first few laps and then we might come off it. And then the rain period will hopefully get us all that back. Now Alex has stayed second here behind Verstappen. I can't remember how it actually finished behind us in the sprint now, but Sainz third, Stroll fourth, Leclerc fifth. The 2 Ferraris 6th and the 7th. Perez actually did alright in the end, I think, in the sprint despite being on hards. And looks like Yuki Tsunoda has got Giovinazzi on the inside of that beautiful Williams. Thank you, Antonio. I mean, great camera angles. Literally can't see anything. We'll come back in. First lap, no incidents so far. Of course, it's the War of the Champions. That's likely to claim someone. Along with that little switcheroo in Sector 1. They're the 2 problem spots really here. Alex holding on though. By the way, just as a reminder, expect part of Alex's vehicle to stop functioning properly partway through this race. I'm not sure what the limits are, but I have an awful feeling that ERS limit is 45. Gearbox is fine, I think that's 30. But guess which gearbox is going to be my practice gearbox for the next few races? Interestingly, Norris now has Giovinazzi now. Either Giovinazzi is just dirt slow here for whatever reason and was holding Norris up, or Norris himself has a problem. Of course, he crashed. I presume he's got a rear wing. Yeah, he does. Oh, no, someone has. What's happened there? Hajar has a penalty. Ricardo is stationary. It says cars are out. I can't see the out message. So what's actually, I mean, Yuki's in the back of this shot.
Has to be said, that was pretty risky.
Okay, 2 cars are not out. Hajar's just been a menace and then driven off from the scene of the crime. So I don't think anyone is out, no matter what the commentary just said there, as Yuki makes the weirdest move, you'll see. What is Yuki doing? Is Yuki all right? He's having the case of the Albons in Brazil there. Well, what's happening? Right, no more ERS, of course. That's that dealt with. And I don't think really any more fuel either for now. We'll keep pushing the tyres because we can. This was designed to be a 5 push anyway till the rain. Albon overtakes Verstappen. We're looking at the wrong end. DRS still not activated technically by this point for Alex. So that wasn't even momentum gained via DRS. That was just Alex. But in theory, these soft tyres on 5 push would still be fine when the rain gets here. Something is going on with Yuki Tsunoda, by the way. I keep seeing him lurching from side to side. I don't know what it is, but it happened to Albon in Brazil. I think it's calmed down a little bit now. It's like he's been put on driving clean air when he hasn't. And he's being very aggressive about it, but I think he's calmed down now. He did it once in the other DRS zone though, on the approach to it, and I thought it was still happening, but he's calmed down now. Now he has got DRS on Ricardo, who of course was vastly separated from Hajar, but he's got the DRS. How have you not got Ricardo through DRS there, who obviously split off from Hajar after Hajar did the thing? Verstappen's got Albon back through DRS, which is highly unsurprising, but second stretch of DRS, that's got Yuki through crucially. And just on that full 5 push, actually, isn't overheating the tyres here in Canada. It's not the hottest track. The track temperature is bearable. The car parts added for this race was a front wing for both drivers and a chassis for Tsunoda. Now the chassis I think helps with engine cooling, which helps with things like wear rates. But I think the front wing does aid the brake cooling, and it aided it to a reasonable amount. Now it's the suspension that's coming through that will be a big difference, and it's the suspension that has come through already previously that has made a big difference on that front in terms of brake cooling. It's put us back in the mix. And that crucially, seemingly, combined with the more bearable track temperature here, as Tsunoda gets Hajar, and I don't even bother watching the replay there, my bad. But seems to be keeping, even on a full 5 push, the tyres just in marginally too hot territory. Albon appears to be +0 on Verstappen, so let's watch this fight now, finally after 5 laps. Sorry, just casually simulating the real F1 broadcast there by not showing the actual action. No, so Verstappen's got Alex there before the detection point, which is allowing Alex to do this back to him. So, Tsunoda wins in Las Vegas. Alex, with a very good chance. Everything has to go right for the remainder of this race, and it is Canada, so we will not rule out incidents. I mean, it must be satisfying for Alex to overtake a Red Bull to take the lead of a race. Right, so Tsunoda now has to get caught up to Bottas. Obviously, the Albon Verstappen fight will continue. Okay. Tsunoda just claims fastest lap as there is a incident. It must be towards the back because I cannot see anything ahead of us. It is towards the back. It is Hajar again being a menace. I don't think they're out, actually. Hajar might have taken himself out, actually, but it did look like the Sauber continued. No, they are both going again. I mean, I don't know how many penalties Hadjar can get. As Albon gets Verstappen again. Oh, behind that detection point, crucially. Ahead of him by the time DRS activates, kind of. And then just powers away. And it's good tactical driving from Alex. I said previously I would kind of like there to be an experience attribute in the game. Probably could take the duties off a couple of other attributes, but like an experience attribute that could factor towards, you know, speed of track acclimatization gathering in practice, or just giving a baseline track acclimatization at the start of it without doing any driving, because they know the track, they've driven on it before. It shouldn't be a surprise to them when they get there again. And I've sort of been thinking about it recently, trying to watch these drivers, particularly in Las Vegas last time out, when they're overtaking people before the detection point. And we've seen in this kind of cat and mouse thing previously with Leclerc and Verstappen, notably last season, where people hold off to the detection point to get the DRS. And I think that kind of intelligence, if they could code it, could factor into that experience stat. I mean, our tyres are going to be way worse than anyone else's because we pushed the... I say way worse, they're actually kind of on par with everyone's, apart from Leclerc's. But Tsunoda is now stuck in a trio, I think. I mean, it's De Vries and a rookie in front of Tsunoda here, so give them a bit of a berth here, Yuki. I mean, he's doing great, really. He's forced Iwasa to defend, which has pushed him off De Vries, crucially. So he should have Iwasa before the detection, before the straight's even over. And then he'll still have DRS on De Vries if he's got the momentum to get him. And he does. Right, no offense to those drivers at the back, but now back with the big boys. 4.7 off Gasly. Yeah, the inter-team incident has really cost Yuki this weekend. He's certainly up for points long-term here. You can say he's 13th, it's lap, what, 10, 9? A good rain interchange should probably see him okay. Albon's actually holding... Oh, as soon as I said that, they actually had a challenge. But, you can say Albon was holding off Verstappen quite nicely, but that feels slightly less nicely as we get a entirely different highlight.
The opportunity begging to be taken.
Oh, Max, a bit of a dive, really. Opportunistic. Alex gives him the space. Oh, hang on. I think I know what's happened here. Alex is still stuck on the outside of Max Verstappen as they get into that corner. So actually, has Max caused that, or has he just gone on? He's just gone straight on. Is he out? I mean, the animation, he didn't hit it with really any force. But it's one of those ones where is the animation lying to you? Open pit options. He is still available. Oh, I actually do have another one of this design. I didn't think I had any more. That was concerning. Well, I might as well put him on the other soft, because we've got to run to the rain, which is still 10 laps away. Well, we've got to assume he gets going, but he might just be teleported back to the grid. As we get to watch this again from his perspective, it's more just fighting with Max Verstappen there, really. Just doesn't really give up. The game's saying he's locked up there, but it's kind of more the fact he just didn't yield to Max Verstappen is what's caused that. Right then, all to come back from again. Hadjar's got a penalty. I think Hadjar might be broken, actually, because he does seem to be dropping quite dramatically. It's also worth noting, we are on full 5 push here. I saw it with Alex as we were doing his pit stop. You can see we're trending above the full 5 push. Okay, so he actually has got all these... He's tapped the gearbox, which actually 40% was the threshold there, not 30. And the ERS actually isn't 45 as I thought. Chassis minor damage, well, whatever. He might be alright. Oh, actually, I do want to check in with Hadjar. He doesn't have a front wing. He's not come in and he doesn't have a front wing. He did seem to be dramatically slower than anyone else. I am confused by Giovinazzi, though. That's a good point. Ricardo was involved in the incidents as well. He's taken Hadjar now. It looks like Ricardo's lost that end plate as well, but I feel like there must be invisible damage there that we can't see because he's fallen massively off as well. Obviously, he was involved in those incidents that pushed him out of DRS ranges in the first place, but even so, he should be capable of keeping up with his teammate in Iwasa, for instance. Or thereabouts. He shouldn't be falling off that much in that amount of time. There is a safety car deployed. Okay. What a fascinating time for a safety car to come out, because we'll be stuck behind that for 3 laps. Crucially, the leader has passed it, actually. Stroll has crashed on 14 and doesn't appear to be moving. So I think that might be his race over. It is the Wall of Champions. Very rarely do you get going from that. I mean, it's a weirdly tame accident, actually, as people's avoiding action is sensational there. Should have really collected more people. Like I say, I think they swung that needle too far, and now people are avoiding things too well. In theory, it should start raining this lap. So pit entry obviously miles off for Tsunoda. I think because of the way it's worked out here, obviously everyone's kind of going the same speed anyway at this stage, so we can afford to let it go all the way around before making the decision to pit, because we'll still end up in the same place. If it starts raining and we decide to pit onto Inters now, on the assumption they'll be good enough by the time we get released again in 3 laps time. Hadjar's come in, actually. I mean, it's the right time to do it. What tyre have they put on him? He's got to serve a penalty first, so I can't see the tyre choice, because I think that's a hard. It is. I mean, that might be entirely the wrong decision. He does get his penalty out of the way, mind, so it might not be the worst decision, has put him behind the leaders, actually. Oh, he's actually got out just ahead of Max Verstappen, but will be forced to yield immediately. It's not started raining yet. The rain is coming later, seemingly. So Hadjar has got clear of the safety car immediately. Come on, rain. Tsunoda's in the pack. Albon is obviously last anyway. My problem is, if it doesn't start raining immediately, the tyres for Alex will burn. But he's last anyway. Also, why is one of them locked out? It's an incredible... There it is! Oh, we've just called it at exactly the right moment. Now, unfortunately, Yuki is in the train now. I think it might be worthwhile to get Yuki in, because we'll be stuck behind this safety car for 2 more laps easy. Particularly if it starts raining, because people will start driving slower in the rain still, I think. And crucially, I think in terms of where the pit stop would bring him out, I think he was always going to come out behind Bottas if he pitted anyway, and Ricciardo hasn't caught up. Now, of course, the problem is we've all bunched up at the end of this straight, which is when everyone's going to get caught up anyway. But I think pitting as soon as possible is the best decision. I think it'll get him out ahead of Alex now because of the way people are bunched up, but I was so close to pulling Tsunoda in anyway, and then the rain came just as Alex was getting there. I preempted it still by about 3 seconds. Other people have gone for it. Interestingly, other people have dived out of that train. Despite being behind the safety car, other people have gone for it, which is interesting from the AI. I really like that from the AI. I like the fact the AI can make that decision and just to have it all gone sheep. So it only comes out ahead of Alex and Hadjar, unfortunately. But doesn't mean our drivers will be back to back once everything gets going, as Hadjar now comes in. I'm fascinated to see what happens now, because it now has officially gone down. I wonder if everyone will come in. So our drivers have caught up now, I think. They all have come in. Okay, so the AI is still a bit dumb, but because it's a safety car, pit one, then pit the other. Don't bother with a double stack. But we have locked our way. I say locked. We saw it coming, particularly with Albon. Yes, there was the opportunity for Yuki to be top of that by pitting him before anyone. We did have the opportunity to pit him the same lap we actually pitted Alex on eventually, but because of the big gap, I still wasn't sure if it was coming by the time Yuki passed the pit, and I was more confident by the time Alex did, because he had nothing to lose. Everyone will get called back up again because now Zhou Guanyu is the safety car restart leader. But suddenly our driver's now 3rd and 4th. And the fuel's back as well for good measure. All right, Alex, learn from the mistake. I'm not putting it on because I think it's safer not to not fight. I'm paranoid now. I'm hoping Alex's lack of confidence will actually keep him behind Yuki ultimately now, because he hasn't actually overtaken one, Alex. He hasn't gained confidence from now getting back to 4th. The system's dumb and he's looking at. Everyone is finally in one train again. Hadjar has gained a place from all that because switching on to Haj was a mistake in the first place for Hadjar because ultimately it was entirely pointless, but he has still actually gained a place through all that. Hadjar wiped his penalty as the safety car came out, went on the wrong tyre, and then went on the right tyre before anyone else did. I think Hadjar pitted the same lap Alex did, but he was about 30 seconds behind. So he still gained on Giovinazzi, clearly, as a result. Unfortunately, apart from obviously Zhou Guanyu and Magnussen ahead of us, Magnussen is obviously in the front pack anyway these days. It's not really created that much carnage. The rest of the top 10 is wholly unsurprising. We haven't got anyone like Bottas or the Williams or the Hasses in there. Zhou Guanyu leading is fascinating because he is slower than Magnussen and he is slower than Tsunoda. And Alex, whilst he might have a slightly dodgy gearbox, probably faster than him as well. Particularly in the rain, of course, where Alex has incredible adaptability. But he's also just lacking confidence at this point in time. And because it is raining, we can probably push this fuel a lot longer, because it won't burn off anywhere nearly as fast if it'll burn off at all. Hadjar is directly behind Daniel Ricciardo again, though. Oh, God. I'd love to know where his confidence is. It must be 0. Yeah, Alex is struggling in comparison. That is the difference between medium confidence and very high confidence, I think. Because they're on the same tyre and the same level of pushing. And Alex is 8/10 behind Yuki. Also the different chassis as well, of course. So Yuki passed Magnussen. He's going for Tsunoda's Zhou Guanyu as well. He's not got him, but so we'll watch the replay on Magnussen because it kind of comes out of nowhere. Because there's no DRS here, of course. Yeah, I say yet. It won't come back on now because it's raining. I mean, it's momentarily first place, but Zhou Guanyu had the apex. So that's 2 laps then, I guess. Now, I am fascinated to see what the actual melting rate of these intermediate tyres is. Verstappen's got Albon there. Because full 5 push should get to the end of the race. But we've seen before that full 5 push and the temperatures that provided with them do cause them to melt faster than it says it will do. So I am fascinated to see if we do need to bring things down. If we need to bring things down, we'll bring them down. It's fine. Okay, Yuki's in a much better position here. He's on the inside as we get through those... I mean, in the rain, that's bold on aggressive. But he's on the inside now and he's got Zhou Guanyu. No DRS, of course, to fight back with. And that's Yuki Tsunoda back in the lead. What a topsy-turvy weekend it is for our drivers. Wild. I mean, qualifying, fine. Obviously, Alex causing that to end prematurely. Then Alex causing Tsunoda massive problems in the sprint, forcing him to start basically at the back, and then Alex ends up at the back. And now we're first and fifth again. I don't know if my heart can take anymore. So we'll just monitor the wear rates of those tyres. If we bring them down, we bring them down. To be fair, we can just sort of match the pace behind us. We'll try and build up a bit of a gap, especially while we've got extra fuel. We'll use that to our advantage. Because Maxton seems to be really struggling to get Zhou Guan Yu. It's sort of on par. We might bring it down a notch just to make sure we've got some life in it. Oh, yeah, that's the point. I obviously worked out that you could do it that way, but I never actually looked what 2 intermediates would do in comparison, just because they seem to be perfectly fine. Oh, wait, no. 2 intermediates would be slow. That's fine. Okay, so Sonoda is currently running away because Zhou Guan Yu is doing a fantastic job of holding people up. So we can bring the fuel right down as well. Don't forget Alex has lost a bit of a gearbox here, so that's part of his speed woes. Oh dear, Russell's got Albon now as well. How bad is that? 37, it's not gone down really that much further. I can't really explain why he's losing this much ground. I mean, it might be just because everyone else's gearboxes are perfectly fine. Whereas when you get towards the end of the season, like people's car paths are in wildly varying states. So, you know, one person's worn gearbox might be balanced out by one person's worn ERS or worn engine. And the chassis taken minor damage, but I don't know if that would be really, you know, 4th to 7th in a few laps worthy. Something isn't quite right there. His tyre wear rate is a lot worse as well, for some reason. But actually, that did seem to be the right call, because whilst it is still trending above the rate, it seems to be running a lot closer to where the estimate for 5 was. So I think we've done the right decision. Of course, Alex is in traffic, so he's getting that warm air. I think the rot is going to stop for Alex now, because it's partially confidence as well. But he's got Gasly behind, who isn't as fast as anyone else that's gone through him. Zhou Guan Yu has gotten taken by Verstappen and Magnussen now. But they are 10 seconds behind Yuki. I see a flash of yellow. I'm just panicking. Arras is at the lock-up turn 1. He's 17th now. I think he lost places because of that. Unfortunately, like, whilst that was obviously an interesting situation, the resulting outcome of that safety car has made things relatively straightforward as we've got fuel again. Alex struggling to keep up with Russell. I'm hoping that just putting in a few good laps will just get his confidence. Oh god, multiple cars have crashed. Perez has a big old penalty there. He's moving, so I don't know who he's dealt with. It's because it's yellow flag, because the cars are still going, whatever it is. It is Sainz, I assume. Yeah, he's just closed him off. Why are you the one saying unbelievable? Yeah, so he just closed off Sainz, really. That's all that happened there. Gasly got Albon after saying that he probably wouldn't do. Yeah, the problem is his confidence. It's the combination of the worn gearbox and his confidence that's causing a lack of pace from Alex. Like, bear in mind, I mean, the instructions kind of cancel each other out a little bit here, but he's actually not lapping that much slower than Sonoda. In fact, actually, Verstappen did a... Yes, you are, Yuki. He's not even pushing that hard. He's only on aggressive, not even on normal.
Oh, there's contact with the barrier.
It's heftier impact. He's faced the wrong way, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's out. Yep. Sainz has come in. I wonder if a fresh intermediate is better now, though. When you factor in the stop is technically free. So it would be, in theory, 9 seconds slower, but you're getting that time back. Because that includes, obviously, the time to pit. So he's 8th as things stand. What are the gaps? Where would he come out? It said he would come out 15th if we put him onto a new one. I don't know. Is track position better? Because it's going to bunch everyone back up again. It would be 15th anyway, because Sainz is pitted. It'd be 14th. So we've got some time to work it out. It says it's actually gone to dry, but I don't think it's going to stay there. No. Actually, that's the point. It might melt the tyres while it's dry a bit. I don't really know why Yuki's being a bit of a problem child at the moment. Obviously, he won the last one, but crashed out in Japan, crashed out here. Okay, so we're now on approach to the pit. Is it still 15th? 12th is his estimated position. Only 7th now. I'm just worried people's tyres are going to overheat behind the safety car. Actually gets out 10th. And, crucially, gets us the pit stop. Which, of course, he didn't have the first time because he had to replace the front wing. So he's on brand new intermediates now in 10th versus used ones in 7th. And has gained us more points in the fastest pit stop award. I generally thought there was a fresh yellow flag there. Because it looked like it went away and then came back. Safety car's sticking around for an awfully long time again. There's the ERS damage. It did still happen. It just happened a lot. Wow, he's lost so much ERS in this race. I don't really know why. Right, so safety car finally in. I think ultimately he'll get Norris. What a daft race this has been in the end. I mean, entertaining, but daft. Obviously, we can push the fuel to the end of the race now. Bottas being the immediate one behind will probably help the charge from Sainz. Just get as many points as you can now, Alex. Well, we needn't worry about the charge from Sainz. I think that's it as well. Of course, actually, I just realised Perez is ahead of us with a penalty. Oh, he's just thumped it. I mean, people are doing very good to avoid that. I mean, they had more time to react to that one, but his confidence is taking a knock. He's out of the race. I think that's it as well. I think we're like within 3 laps at the end of the race now. So I think we're done, but Perez, of course, will be bunched up. So Bottas will get a point here. He did drop off, but Albon couldn't make any inroads on Norris. I think that between the chassis, the confidence, and the two engine problems, mechanical problems. It just sort of added up to just basically being those 3 or 4 tenths that prevented him getting anywhere near Norris's speed. He wasn't losing him, but he wasn't gaining on him when he probably should be. But I think that's it. I think we're done. Oh no, we might get like 1 or 2 laps. If it stays out as long as it did last time, anyway. Oh, Bottas, stay within 5 seconds, mate. Stay within 5 seconds of Perez. You'll get a point, friend. Reynolds stopped, but it's at 2.4. Safety car continues. Lap 67, evidently. 68, evidently. Safety car comes in on lap 68, so there'll be 2 full racing laps. Come on, Bottas. Get a point. Stroll, Sainz, and Tsunoda out. Chevrolet and you were good points. Gasly were good points. Magnussen third is a problem for our fight, of course. I mean, I'm almost happy that Bottas has taken us there because it means it's more like... Oh, he hasn't, actually. He's fighting him a lot more than I was expecting, but he appears to have got us now. But I'm always happy for Bottas because getting a point anyway. See, I like the counter last sprint because everything worked in our favour. Not so much this time. I say everything. I think we still had an issue despite finishing second with the other driver. I forget which round it was, but I think it was Snowder's second, right? I think Alex still crashed. Other way around this time, but Alex is still outside the points. I mean, we'll still get 10th because of Perez, but not a huge amount. A great day for Red Bull in the end, but not a huge amount of switcherooing. Russell didn't get the podium. Miles off it this time around. I say miles, obviously. It's still like 4 seconds, but Alex is happy with that, apparently. I'm not sure what the expectations are for us, considering he started second and finished 10th. But apparently he's had put in a showstopper of a drive. Kevin actually up from 11th is impressive to get 3rd. Lando off from the back to get 8th is even better. But Perez, because of the 5-second penalty, ended up 15th. The Valtteri Bottas with 2 points for Sauber. Leaves 4 people without. The both Hasses, which is slightly unsurprising. Daniel Ricciardo again and Nick de Vries. Antonio Giovinazzi got a point. Why do I not remember that? But either way, Sauber now 8th, Williams now 9th, Haas 10th. That's a shame for them. Yeah, we lose a little bit of ground there. Still 4th though, actually. The gap to Aston Martin is okay. And because we did pit Alex a second time, probably ultimately the wrong choice, we are now 140 points ahead of Red Bull in this. Blimey. Oh, to be fair, it only took us from 4th to 1st actually on that pit stop in that respect, so maybe it wasn't as worthwhile as I thought it was. Still managed to achieve our sponsorship objective, so 5 million in, which is good because we're going to have to spend money on clearly mechanical engine parts now. Right, so Alex's gearbox situation is still not terrible. Again, the air situation is not terrible because that was actually his worst of the 2 to begin with. Okay, so Alex not really lost out too much on that front. Whereas Yuki Tsunoda doesn't even have an ERS anymore. He has 1 functional gearbox and both engines are kind of, okay for a bit. But because he's going to need ERS, I might as well take a suite of everything. And crucially this time, we've got enough money to do that in Miami. Next time out. They're also missing, obviously, aerodynamic parts, but we're building those. Oh, of course, that's when the factory foot burns down. I genuinely think the game just saw us win a race and went, let's turn all the chaos up to 12. Like, this is the game's way of balancing the fact we've just won a race. It's burnt down. I can't do anything about it. It's shut down for 9 days and Miami's in 4. So we have to use whatever car parts we've got. Oh my God. I don't even have spare C2s. Did Alex genuinely break 2 chassis 2s? Because Yuki had the 1 good chassis 3. But there were 3 chassis 2s available. Alex broke 2 of them, once in qualifying, once there. Oh, for God's sake. So Alex is going to have to use the original chassis. Well, that's mayhem, isn't it? Because the way this works out, we don't even really get anything before Spain either. That is literally the worst that could have ever possibly happened. Well, mixed fortunes for those 2 races, eh? We've enjoyed this episode, and you damn well should have, quite frankly. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the deal by now. Until next time, ta-ra.